What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk, Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. Got a pretty big show tonight. A lot going on in the sports world. One day out from less than 24 hours away, kicking off the NFL season. Hey, I'm excited for that. We're at the first weekend of full slate of regular season NFL. So, a lot of stuff going on in the sports world. Baseball getting close to the playoffs. NBA getting close to getting ready to start. WNBA are getting ready to crown a champion. So there's stuff going on everywhere in the sports world. And as always, I'm joined tonight by the sports judge, Jonathan Mathis. How you doing tonight, Judge?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Chris? What's going on, viewers? What's going on, everyone out there? Yes, this is going to be a jam-packed show. We're going to have quite a bit to talk about tonight because, tomorrow is the NFL kickoff game. We got a good one. We got the Rams playing the Bills. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll get into that. But first, man, we got some history that's been made tonight in tennis. And we got to talk about Francis Tiafoe, man. He became the first Black American man to reach the U.S. Open tennis championship semifinals since Arthur Ashe did it in 1972. Now, the place where this has happened is the same building that's named after Arthur Ashe. So this is an incredible story. It's dominating headlines as it should, and everyone has acknowledged and has paid close attention to Tiafoe. I've been rooting for him. He's been an American success story, I would say, and this is one of the best stories of the sports year so far.
Yeah, you're right. It's a real good sports story. And it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was he an underdog in the quarterfinals? You're muted, Judge.
He did face Rafael Nadal. I thought Rafael Nadal can pull it off because of the experience that he had.
Was that in the quarterfinals?
I believe, yeah. I don't think.
Like his last match. Who he beat? You know who he beat his last match?
He beat some other guy, but before then he beat Rafael Nadal.
Okay. Do you know who the favorite was in that one? Though? Was he the favorite? I can't remember for sure, but either way, it's a hell of an accomplishment. I was just wondering if it was maybe even a greater accomplishment, like if he was like a real low seed.
It's an excellent
upset somebody, but beating Nadal, he'd already that right there cemented him up for a great tournament. Right. And being able to make the semifinals, I hope he wins in the semis and can make it to that championship match, because once you get there, you never know what can happen. But no, it's a great story, and it's something hopefully a lot of the young people start looking at stuff like that and get to thinking more positive than all the negative stuff that we have going on everywhere in the world.
Right. And this is a guy who had a tough upbringing, right? This is a guy who came from poverty. He basically came from nothing, and he has worked so hard to improve his game. If you read up on his story, it's an incredible one. His story is absolutely remarkable. How far he has come in life to, be the man that he is today and the tennis player that he is today. He's an extremely likable person. I think everyone is really rooting for him. And he's another Black man who has paved the way for other Black tennis players, So, I mean, this is just a wonderful story, and I'm definitely rooting for him.
Yeah, no, I hope he has continued success, and like I said, I hope he makes the final.
Right.
I mean, you always have to. I don't know. I think you always have to root for anybody that can accomplish something kind of greatness.
Great.
If you're not rooting for it, and you're trying to tear it down, you probably shouldn't be watching that sport even to begin with.
And Here's another thing about him. What he does so well. He played a solid game. He strikes the ball very well. He strikes the ball very cleanly. He had a great return. Great returner. Stays calm. And I think he can bring it home. He definitely is a great tennis player. He has great movement. He keeps the ball in front of him. He plays defense really, really well, and
So,
and it's really, really hard for his opponent.
he's going to play the winner of this match I'm watching right now between Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah,
They're playing right now on ESPN. Alcaraz won the first set 6-3. Sinner is up 5-4 in the second set right now.
it's been
So
an astonishing run for Tiafo. It really has been just a remarkable run.
Alcaraz is the number 3 seed, and Sinner's the number 11 seed. So, but yeah, this has been a
It's
pretty
been
good
a
match.
great U.S. Open. It's really been a great U.S. Open. If you paid close attention to it, it's been some good matchups. It's been a great
That's good.
so far. What you think?
Oh, huh?
What you think about the tournament, the U.S.
No,
Open?
I think it's been a pretty good tournament. I'll be honest, I haven't got to watch as much of the U.S. Open as I usually do this year because last week I was in bed sick all week. If I
Yeah,
sit up or try to get on my feet, I puke everywhere. So I missed a lot last week, but so I didn't get to watch as much of the U.S. Open as I usually do. But I watch. I don't watch a lot of tennis, but I watch all the majors. If it's Wimbledon, U.S. Open, I watch all the majors. Uh, I watch a lot of golf as well. I like watching golf on the weekends, especially in the summertime when you don't really have a whole lot of sports going on. Sometimes, some of them golf turns, especially when Tiger was in his heyday, and even now it's trying to see Tiger come back. And, golf's always interesting to watch. So but no, I mean, it's a great accomplishment. I hope he can win. He probably don't play tomorrow. They probably get a day off, so he probably plays on Friday. I would say.
yeah, and he's also the first American man to reach the U.S. Open semifinals since Andy Roddick did it back in 2006.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Glenn?
Yeah, how's it going, Glenn?
How
Uh,
you doing, man? Thanks for watching. What's up?
Philly Sports
What's up?
Talk podcast. What's good, guys? Hey, Philly Sports. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us
And
on
of
this.
course, we got the stat guy Dustin Reese in here. Judge looking like Chester Cheeto, but with Doritos.
It. Always got to throw on some type of graphic tee, as you guys know. Tonight it's the retro look, the old school Doritos logo, as you guys can see.
So going into tomorrow night, we're less than 24 hours away. We'll have some NFL football.
Yes.
What do you think? What kind of game you think are you expecting out of the Bills and the Rams to kick off this new season? I think it's going to be a real close game. But what's your thoughts on? We're almost to football, and then this Sunday we get a full slate of games. Uh, to me, this is about the most exciting part of the year. Because this is where everything starts coming back. So, what are your thoughts on the Rams? I know you're a Rams fan. So, what are your thoughts on the Rams playing a tough Buffalo Bills team to kick off the season tomorrow night?
Chris, what we're seeing here could possibly be the Super Bowl preview. These are two teams that could very well meet in the Super Bowl. So this is a potential preview of the Super Bowl. You got two very good teams that could come out on top in their conferences. You got a very good Rams team that can win the NFC. They could come out on top in the NFC. Then you look at the Buffalo Bills. They can be the team that come out of the AFC. A lot of people felt that way about the Buffalo Bills last year. Felt that they should have, came out of the AFC a year ago and should have represented the AFC. And very well could have had they won that game in overtime and had their defense not, you know, taking their foot off the gas pedal, in which they did in that game against the Kansas City Chiefs. So now tomorrow night, what we're gonna see two good quarterbacks in what can be a great quarterback duel between Matthew Stafford and, of course, Josh Allen. Now, you guys know I got Josh Allen ranked as a top quarterback. I think he's a top ranked quarterback. Um, he definitely has the skill set. He definitely has the throwing mechanics. He can, spread the ball around the field. He has the playmaking abilities. And what I like about him too, he's not afraid to put his body on the line. This is a guy who can also rush for touchdowns, who can gain a lot of yards with his quickness and his speed and his agility. And he's not scared to run with the football. I think he's great at eluding pressure. He's great at extending plays. And we're gonna see a lot of that tomorrow from Josh Allen. I'm also interested in seeing uh, the two wide receivers go at it, and I'm interested to see that matchup. Stephon Diggs on Buffalo, and then you have Cooper Cup, on the Rams. Both of those guys are gonna put on the show tomorrow night. That's definitely gonna be Josh Allen go-to guy, Diggs, and then of course you have Cooper Cup, who had a phenomenal year last year. He had a record-setting season last year. It was a record-breaking year for Cooper Cup, and he put up some ridiculous numbers as we saw last season. So, I think it's going to be a great game between two high-flying offenses with two very good quarterbacks, explosive offenses. I think it's going to be close. I think the winner will win the game by a touchdown. You know, I think it's also two very good defenses. You got premier defenses. You got Aaron Donald, who's arguably the best defensive player in the NFL. We know how he comes off the edge and he can get to the quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see him try to chase down Josh Allen all night long. And then, of course, you got the secondary. You got Jalen Ramsey in that secondary. He dictates things. He can take away half of the field. And then you look at Buffalo's defense. Their defense is not so bad. Didn't they have the best defense a year ago in the NFL? Again, they just fell asleep at the wrong time, at the worst possible time. They also have an opportunistic defense. They take advantage of a lot of mistakes. If they can force you into turnovers, they could turn those into quick points. They are very good at giving Josh Allen and that offense a short field. And usually that results in 6 points for Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen, again, is a stud. So I think this is going to be a close game. I know I might sound like a homer here, but I got the Rams kind of edging this one out in the end. I think they win by a touchdown. I can see Matthew Stafford heaving the ball up for Cooper Cup to make that spectacular catch and run for the end zone as time is dwindling down late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I have the Bills winning by 3, but I think it's going to be a great game. I'm interested in a couple things in this game. One is what's Josh Allen going to look like without Brian Daboll? And I'm not saying it was all Daboll, but you know how it can get if you get comfortable with the coordinator. They leave, and then you have another coordinator. And sometimes you might not have that same rhythm with that guy. So I'm interested to see what happens with that there with the Bills. But man, Josh Allen's right up there as the best quarterback in the league. And like you said about his running ability, that puts a defense in a tough situation because he's not a small dude either. He's a big guy, and so you not only you have to worry about the plays he can make with his arm, and he has one of the strongest arms in the league. And then you got to worry about what he can do with his feet. So I think that's I think the Rams defense is going to struggle a little bit with that. But I mean, the Rams are they're defending Super Bowl champions, so you can't overlook them. I think it's going to be a great game tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. We're actually going to do a live watch along for the game tomorrow night. Dad and myself are actually going to get. I didn't want to advertise it until I knew what some stuff that was going to happen, but it looks like that's we're going to be ready. We'll be ready in time, so we're going to do that tomorrow night. So anybody wants to jump on, like Judge, if you want to jump on for a little bit, you're more welcome to jump on for a little bit. We're just going to watch the game, talk some football, and have a good time.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Actually, sounds like NFL kickoff watch party.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. It's fun. Just have a conversation about football as the game goes. And sometimes a lot of people tune in for that because they like to be a part of that watch along and hear what you got to say about the game. But yeah, I'm ready for football. It's been gone for too long. I think all football fans are ready for the season to finally get underway, and we will have an NFL game tomorrow night. And what better way to have? What better way to kick off the season? Because you have two teams that could potentially meet in the Super Bowl.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's go. Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be fun, and doing that watch along is even gonna be better because usually, like we do these watch alongs, my dad's at his house, I'm somewhere else. Everybody's different places.
Right.
Well, tomorrow, me and Dad will be in the same room together doing the watch along. So I think that makes it even funner when you got some guys there with you all on in the room together. Makes it a little funner because everybody's reacting at the same time. You don't have to worry about if one stream is ahead of another stream, or what I mean. Everybody in that room is seeing it at the same time. Where sometimes with these streams, somebody can be a minute behind somebody else's stream, so that can make it a little difficult sometimes on them watch alongs when you're doing that. So I'm looking forward to doing one where we're in the same room where we don't have to worry about you see the same thing at the same time. So it makes it a little easier.
Oh yeah.
What? How many home runs is Aaron Judge going to end up with?
That's a good question. He's on pace to hit 60 plus homers. I think if he keeps this up, he's going to easily crush that record that he's chasing. No doubt he's having a historic year. I think his MVP to lose. I think he's clearly running away with the MVP award this season. He has put up the numbers. He has done a good job without any help, really, to keep his team afloat. And eventually, the Yankees are going to be crowned AL East champions. I think we all know that. So, Aaron Judge is having an MVP caliber year, and he should definitely win the MVP award. But to answer your question, the way he's hitting and how he's been on this offensive tear all season, I don't see why he can't, surpass that record. I think he will, hit 60 plus home runs. He might get close to 70.
Yeah, I think he has a realistic chance of getting it. It's going to be interesting to see how many teams pitch to him down the stretch. That could have a big part to play in it.
Or if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, he has to stay healthy, and then he has these teams are going to have to pitch to him. And if you're in some of these games that have playoff complications, there's going to be a lot of times he's going to get walked. So that cuts down on some of his chances. But I think he has a good shot.
I think he was walked intentionally tonight.
I think he has a good shot. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I forgot to mention that. But let's get back to football, like we were talking about. Is what games for Sunday slate after tomorrow's game? What other games are catching your eye that you think might, or the games to watch? The
Vikings
you can't miss of the weekend.
The Vikings and the Packers game of the week. That game's going to be
That's gonna be a good
televised,
one.
nationally televised on Fox 11.
You're gonna hear a lot about that one. You're gonna hear a lot about the Panthers and Browns, whether them teams are any good or not, just because it's Baker and
Baker
Cleveland.
versus his former team.
And then
Yes.
you got Russ going back to Seattle.
Right. That's another one to keep your eye on. But I think for me, the big one is to see how the Vikings match up against the Packers. Because everyone is talking about, hey, what's up, Frankie? Because all you've been hearing about is the Packers are still the favorites to win the NFC North Division because they have Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback. And, we all know that the Packers are a betting favorite because they have Aaron Rodgers, who is probably one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, no doubt about it. But this Vikings team has been overlooked. No, they don't have a flashy name as a quarterback. Kirk Cousins is not an Aaron freaking Rodgers, but he does enough to help his team get by. And when you look at the Vikings defense, don't sleep on their defense. Their defense is better than what a lot of people I think they are. And to me, if you look on paper, their defense looks really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing that Vikings and Packers match up on Sunday.
Frank says Parker's going back to Miami in a Patriots uniform.
That too.
Yes, I'm looking forward to
I think these
all those games.
First week matchups are really compelling.
Yeah, I do agree. Well, I do agree with you about Minnesota and Green Bay, but I think what makes if you go back and you look at the schedule making, the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season, the NFL are packed full of division games. I mean, the Colts played like five of their division games in the first 7 weeks of the league of the season. So they've jam-packed these. So that makes for a lot of good matchups because division teams know each other well. So them games and their rivals. So yeah, the first 4 or 5 or 6, 8 weeks of the season are stacked with division games this year, and I think it's going to make the season interesting because I think look at the AFC West. That's almost a playoff game anytime there's a division game in that series. If Wilson does what everybody thinks he can do in Denver, you know what I mean. There's potential there. And then you got other teams. I mean, the Rams are going to be good. Tampa Bay, if they get an offensive line, are going to be good because they have Tom Brady. I think the Colts are going to be a tough team this year. It all depends on our receiving core, but the defense we have and with Jonathan Taylor, and I think Matt Ryan is going to be better than what Carson Wentz was last year. I think the Colts are going to be a threat. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're going to be in the playoffs and be a threat. And you got who knows what the Ravens with Lamar Jackson is going to look like. He don't get a deal by Friday. He's going to go into this regular season pissed, and he's going to want to put up ungodly numbers, and so they're paying him like $800-900 million instead of $500 million like Mahomes got. So
well, I heard they're expected to reach a deal by Friday.
Okay, I guess if they don't, that's the deadline. If you don't reach one by Friday, I guess Lamar's not talking about a contract after the season. So he'd be basically a franchise tag and betting on himself.
We'll see. They could franchise tag him. Like most,
that's what I'm saying. They'd franchise tag him for this season, and then
just wait. Right, just wait to pay him later. And he like we talked about before, Lamar Jackson seems pretty content with that. He's not. That's
what I'm saying. He's betting on himself because he knows if he goes out and balls out this year, then he's just doubling the money that they would have.
But I think you stack your bread while you can, because what if you suffer a severe injury that could be?
But if he don't, he might set the record for the NFL contract.
That's true. I mean? Because the quarterback market,
it's all about that risk reward, and it's tricky because you can think you're making the right decision. He could have said, "No, I'm not going. I want paid now," and he could have been He could be walking just down the street somewhere and get hurt, or he can bet on himself and get ran over by a truck and not get hurt. You just never know. You can get hurt in so many different ways, and sometimes you get hurt the worst in weird situations. It's like the shots that look the worst are usually not the worst. It's the ones that look like they don't hurt are the ones that are usually the deadly ones.
Right. It's a freak accident most of the time. Or unless you're Fernando Tatis Jr. and make boneheaded decisions and get on a motorcycle and hurt your wrist.
What do you think about Flacco starting for the Jets? Joe Flacco is an NFL starting quarterback for Week 1.
I'm not surprised.
I thought it was too soon for Wilson to be back already. I really did.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's too soon for Wilson to be back. But Joe Flacco, I did have this. Let's not forget he does have a postseason resume. He did lead his former team, the Ravens, on this magical run, to the Super Bowl, and led that team to a Super Bowl victory.
Yeah.
And he will forever go down in franchise history for that accomplishment, for achieving the improbable, really. Because everyone had written him off. No one believed that he was capable of leading a team to the Super Bowl, let alone winning the whole thing. So yes, and I'm with Dustin here. He's a placeholder. And yes, he's a top 4 placeholder.
First name back at Baltimore
to me.
And Super Bowl MVP.
Super Bowl MVP. He also, was seen on the Disney World float when they won.
And that was the thing when he won. You could say
David Letterman. He was on the David Letterman show. He became a famous guy after winning that Super Bowl. So they know what the Jets know what they have in a quarterback. Their coach Robert, how you say his last name?
Salah.
There you go. He does a great job grooming quarterbacks and working with quarterbacks. So this could work.
Yeah. I mean, my thing about Flacco, I think he takes a lot of flack for no reason because people forget that yes, he was Super Bowl MVP, but not only that, he played ungodly in that playoffs for the Ravens to get there. It wasn't like they got there despite of him. He was a big part. He was a big part of that playoff run that year. Yeah, he might not have had a whole lot of other great years, but that Super Bowl season, he was a big part of that. And for some reason, people, when you talk about Flacco, they try to diminish that. And it's like, no, he might not have played for a long or longevity of a time, but at one time he was playing as good as about anybody in the league, even though he just couldn't sustain it as long as a lot of these other guys could.
And like you said, he played a critical role to that team's success that year, when he was the Ravens quarterback. And people often forget, he was one of the best players, one of the most important players on that team.
And look at that. Flacco has the most playoff road wins among active QBs. Love the stat guy. Because you always know if you talk about something, it's like, boom, he's going to give you a stat about it.
He has the paper sitting right next to him. He must have a stack of papers.
Frankie said he helped beat my team in the AFC Championship game. That's how I always felt about Brady, Frankie, because he always would do that to the Colts and Peyton Manning. Oh, I couldn't stand Brady. I respected him because of how good he was, but I couldn't stand him because he was always in our damn way.
It's that one player that always has your number, and that one player that's always standing in your way.
How do you think Wilson going back to Seattle? How do you think this is going to play out?
Going back to Seattle, I think
it's this way. If he goes back to Seattle and he loses, they're going to bury him. Especially since Geno Smith is starting.
I think they're also going to give
him. If he loses this game, they're going to be all over Russell Wilson.
They are, but they're going to give him a warm reception too. I mean, he's going back to Seattle. Let's keep in mind that he did, lead that team to a Super Bowl. He was a huge part of that team's success while he was there. So I think he gets a warm reception. I think he's going to be greatly received by the fans. I think he gets, a standing ovation from that crowd, and deservingly so. You know, he was a franchise player there for a very very long time, and sometimes our run comes to an end, and it's very rare that a player does it with one team. You
Yeah,
know, now it's more common in the NFL to see quarterbacks, spend their entire career with one team, but that wasn't the case for Russell Wilson, as this team decided that it was best to go into a rebuild. And that's exactly what the Seahawks are doing. The Seahawks are not going to have a great year. It's going to be a down year for them because they are in rebuild mode, as we all know. But now this is a chance for Wilson, Russell Westbrook, Russell Wilson to get a fresh start.
you got Russell Westbrook on the mind.
I guess so. This give Russell Wilson a chance to get a fresh start. He's in a new city now. He has a change of scenery. Maybe he can, rejuvenate himself, uh, and be that quarterback that solves all their problems offensively. Something that Denver was missing. A lot of people seem to believe that, and everyone have been saying this, that the Denver Broncos were a quarterback away from being a real contender. So we will see now that they have a veteran quarterback in Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's going to be that's why it's going to be interesting. We keep the last 2 or 3 years. Denver's a quarterback away, quarterback away. Well, we're going to see how good this roster of Denver's really is now, because they should have that quarterback. I mean, unless for some reason Wilson has just fell way off, which I haven't seen yet. But other than that, I mean, if you're with the roster they have, the Broncos are going to be tough. I know the division they're in is brutal. I mean, you're in that brutal division there. It's going to be interesting to see how Wilson does. But he has to win this game here, especially with the everybody knows Seattle's in the rebuild, and if something happens, you go down here and lose this game to them. That's all the media is going to talk about the rest of that night and the rest of the week until Sunday starts, and there's some other games to start talking about. And that's
Oh,
not the way you want to start in
no,
Denver
no,
with
no,
the team that's supposed to be a
no,
quarter.
no way, because he won't be able to live that one down. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right
because
about
that's all
that.
they'll talk about for a week until they play again.
Right, right.
And you're supposed to be the guy that we're supposed to be a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl. And we can't be a team that's
And then you
rebuilding.
go back to Seattle. You make your return to Seattle, playing, on a different team, wearing a different colored jersey, and you lose the game. Yeah, yeah, people are gonna talk about you if that happens.
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff going on.
Yep,
Uh, a lot of big games.
a lot of great
Uh,
storylines. A lot of great storylines.
I can't wait. I love NFL Sundays. 1 p.m. Eastern on. I'm watching football up
There's nothing like it.
to about midnight most nights on Sunday night Eastern
That's
time.
me. That's all of us, I think.
So
Most
game
football
start for you guys at what?
10
10?
o'clock. Yep.
See,
And
10 isn't too bad.
oh no, no, that's a perfect time for me. I'm an early bird anyway, so I'm up
Our games are 1 and 4.
pregame. I'm watching the pregame show with Michael Irvin and Mooch and all those
Yeah,
guys and Rich Eisen over on the NFL Network. And then by 10 o'clock, I'm having breakfast by 9. I don't usually eat breakfast, but if I do, I have it around 9 o'clock. And then
yeah.
the next hour, the NFL games are starting. And I just, watch the games all day.
That's
Like
what I
most
do.
football fans.
Our games are at 1 and 4, and then you have about 8 o'clock the Sunday night game. So it's just boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
and
the
then
Sunday night game is always a good one to watch too. I remember when the Sunday night game used to be on ESPN and nobody cared about the Sunday night game. Nobody cared about the Sunday night game. But once it came on prime time and regular TV, everyone,
oh
suddenly
yeah, I've been critical of
wow.
I've been critical of ESPN with some of the moves they've made because they should have signed McAfee a hell of a long time ago. But they finally made the right damn move and put McAfee on College Game Day as a permanent guy there. And they should have done that a long time ago.
Oh yeah, that guy brings the energy. That guy is very passionate. You know, I love
Yeah,
his.
he's taking a little bit of a leave away from WWE, and he's going to be on college game part of college game day on a regular basis now.
Oh, that's nice.
And then he's going back to WWE after the college season starts settling down.
Yeah, that's gonna make more people tune in. That's gonna make more people want to watch that show now. With his presence and with him on that show, yeah, more
Yeah, because
people.
when he used to make guest appearances on there, everybody loved it when he was on there.
Yeah, everybody's gonna watch that show now. That's gonna definitely help with their ratings. You're gonna see a massive increase with that guy around. That guy just has a unique talent. You know, he knows how to captivate an audience, how to get people fired up. You know, that's what he does so well, and I think that's why the fans kind of gravitate to him, and why his viewers, you know, make sure they don't miss a show because they know this guy is gonna bring. He's gonna bring the fire every time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And let's talk a little bit about the Cowboys. Cowboys and the Bucks. What are you expecting from this game? You got a Cowboys team that's bad on injuries. You have a Bucks team that's really bad on injuries at the offensive line, which to me is the most important thing for them because if you keep Tom Brady upright and give him time, he's going to pick defenses apart. But if they can get pressure up that middle, everybody knows that's what affects Brady the most. And that offensive line scares me because you got to keep Brady upright. If Brady's upright, he's in trouble, and so that scares me a little bit about the Bucks. But I'm not sold on the Cowboys though either because I think they got worse since last year in my opinion. And then now you're adding on some of these injuries, so I'm not expecting a whole lot from the Cowboys really this season.
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys defensive interior is soft enough to try to keep the ground game between the hash marks with a power back like Leonard Fournette to settle things down. So all the Tampa Bay Bucks really have to do is just pound the ball, just pound it. You know, just establish the run early. You know, your defense can become an onslaught because of your high powered running game with Leonard Fournette. You know, just let him plow into the end zone. Let him do his thing because he definitely has the stamina. He definitely has the ability to run over people, especially that Dallas defensive front. I'm not so confident in that Dallas defensive front. You know, I'm really not. The defensive front, you know, it seems that they are, like you said, decimated by injury. But like you mentioned moments ago, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are banged up too. And that offensive line is suspect right now because they don't have all their moving parts to protect Tom Brady. And we all know if Tom Brady is under duress and he's being pressured,
especially up the middle,
especially up the middle, he's going to get frustrated. And what usually happens when he gets frustrated? It usually results in turnovers, right?
Yeah.
Uncharacteristic plays by Tom Brady. So Tom Brady is not a person who, you know, likes to be rushed, hurried, and pressured. And when he is, you know, you usually see him make those uncharacteristic mistakes that can prove very costly for his team.
It's going to be interesting. Also, what about the 49ers and what are you expecting from Trey Lance this weekend?
I mean, we don't really have much information on Trey Lance. You know, we don't really have a lot of film on Trey Lance. This is a guy who hasn't played a ton of football, you know, but I understand why he was named the starting quarterback. I get why he won the starting job because he outshined Jimmy G, you know, in the preseason. And that's why there is so much hype surrounding Trey Lance. But hey, if Trey Lance doesn't live up to the hype, and if he starts to struggle, you can always go back to Jimmy G,
Yeah.
and you can always make him your starting quarterback. But I think the 49ers are ready to embark on a new era. They obviously drafted this kid for a reason. They obviously saw something in him. I was very impressed how he worked through his progressions. I was very impressed with his explosiveness. His throwing mechanics. I think Trey Lance has it. Now, will he be able to do it in a regular season game? That remains to be seen. But this guy looks very determined. He's willing to learn. He's gonna do everything he can to enhance, his game and get better week in and week out. And I think we will see a guy who will continue to grow, who will continue to mature, and who will continue to allow his speed and explosiveness to be a byproduct of his all around game.
Stat Guy says breaking news out of Minnesota. Vikings GM Mensah is meeting with Ndamukong Suh and plans to offer him a 2-year deal. Talks broke down in August, but Suh and the Vikings have been engaged in more conversations in the last 4 days. That'd be a good pickup by the Vikings. Real good pickup by the Vikings if they're able to pull that off.
You get a veteran, you get a great guy who can, put some pressure on the quarterback, a guy that can get to the quarterback, knock him to the ground, a guy who brings that veteran presence. Hey, that would be a good pickup for the Vikings.
Yep.
It's a win-win situation.
Oh yeah, I agree. Any other things you wanted to talk about for tonight?
Man, what else is happening in the sports world? I know in baseball, man, we're getting closer and closer to October.
Yep.
Well, that's my
and that means NBA is coming back as well.
And the Dodgers' magic number is 4 games. The magic number is 4 games. But you know what, Chris? We've seen this movie so many times. I'm bored. I'm tired of watching the same movie every summer.
Yeah.
I'm tired of watching the same movie every summer. The Dodgers dominate the summer months, but then when the fall sets in, they can't win a damn game.
Yeah, I agree.
Autumn brings them nothing but bad luck. The leaves start falling from the trees, and the Dodgers start falling as well.
Yeah.
They've
had their struggles.
It's like a Halloween horror movie that you watch every October with this Dodger team. Sometimes I feel like they don't deserve to even win the division the way they play. Maybe they should be home carving pumpkins with their children, the players, because it gets creepy in October. And this is a team. I guess their magic gets their magic wears off or whatever, and they suddenly disappear. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Tell you what,
the opposing team kidnapped them or something.
I agree with Dustin here about the Mets. They're kind of falling apart on me, and I hate that, but I'm sticking with them. But you better look out for them Cardinals. I agree. They're looking like one of them teams that might be catching that magic at the right time of the year.
They always capture that magic at the right time of the year, and they always peak in October.
Write it out.
They always peak in October. The Cardinals have been known for that for a very, very long time. And the Cardinals have had the Dodgers number for a long time as well. The Dodgers haven't had great luck against the Cardinals in recent memory. In fact, the Cardinals would be the team that would eliminate them each year.
How's it going, Eddie? All right. Well, we got you got any final thoughts, Sports Judge, before we close it out on this Wednesday night? We'll be back Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. We'll recap what happens on Thursday in the NFL opener, and we'll preview some college football and some NFL football. It's going to take place over the weekend. We'll preview some of those games on Friday night. So join us Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for that. Judge, you got any final thoughts?
Chris, repeat after me. Whose house?
Whose house?
Rams house.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I can't say the Rams. Colts.
Damn it.
Colts all the way.
Almost had them. Almost had you. I thought I had you anyway.
I just hope the Colts don't lose to the Texans because, man. Oh,
that would be starting off the season on the wrong
Colts have struggled in the season openers the last 7-8 years. They've really struggled in the season
openers.
openers.
They struggled in the season finale too last year. That was terrible. That's one that Colts fans want to forget about.
Yeah, I thought I forgot about it. You just keep bringing it up, right? Throwing it right back at me.
I keep reminding you, right? I think it's a friendly reminder, my friend, that the Colts, they choked. They performed a choke job. I mean, that was one of the greatest. That was one of the worst choke jobs in professional sports history.
I'm changing my pick. Buffalo by 20 tomorrow.
But you know what though? I blame a lot of that on Frank Wright, and I think we talked about that before.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I'm just messing around.
Why didn't you pound the football? Why didn't you come up with plays? You know,
he gets the spurts where he does already. He gets away from running. He takes Jonathan Taylor out, and might not see Jonathan Taylor for 3 series. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
Right. Why didn't you create plays for Jonathan Taylor to run the football? It's that simple. Don't abandon the strength of your offense. The strength of that offense is running the football. We seen that all year with the Colts last year.
You see that happen with a lot of teams where they get too carried away with wanting to show that they could throw the football and run these flashy ass plays. If you have a killer running back, pound that damn football, and that's going to open up everything else for everybody else.
Right. It's a pass-driven league, but you have to be able to establish the run so you can open everything else up, like you just said, on the offense. That helps your passing game tremendously. You know, it makes things for your offense smoother. Yeah.
Because if your running game is working, you do a play action, then linebackers are more likely to bite on that run because you're having some success running the ball. And so now they got to try to play up on it, and then boom, over the top, you can be wide open.
Right. And then your offense becomes more unpredictable.
Yep. Yes, sir. Well, all right. What do we have? We'll see you guys Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern for another show. Like I said, tomorrow night, opening season in the NFL. We'll be doing on the Gonzo Sports Room Network. We'll be doing a live watch along and reaction to the game tomorrow night. So if you want to talk while you're watching the game, jump on with us. Should be a good time. We'll be on probably right around 8 p.m. Eastern time, somewhere around there. We'll be live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Want to thank the Judge for joining me again tonight, like always. I enjoy doing this show. It sucked not getting to do it for a whole week last week, but we're getting a whole weekend this week, and hopefully we can do that for a while now. Maybe I can stay healthy for a little while and quit causing us little pauses here and there. But hope everybody has a great night. Stay safe, and we will see you guys Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. Please hit that subscribe button on the YouTube pages. Like and follow on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys Friday at 11 for another episode of Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk. Have a great night. Friday.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.